What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Harry the Horse Barbecue, and today we are talking about something that you cannot make barbecue without, and that is our cooking wood. Let's get it.
Harry the Horse Barbecue.
Now, when it comes to barbecue, cooking over wood and fire is the most primal, basic version of cooking that there is. The first meat that was actually cooked by humans was cooked over fire. So it's an instinctual way for us to cook, and it's the most simplistic and natural version of us cooking food. When it comes to barbecue, you have to be diligent in your selection of wood in order for you to produce some of the best barbecue that you possibly can. Now, if you're familiar with barbecue, you know that it is a regional form of cooking. Some of the regional styles of barbecue include Carolina style, Memphis style, Texas style. Those are probably the three most well-known versions of barbecue that there are. And what makes them regional is that they have access to different meats, but also different types of wood. The type of wood in your area really dictates the type of barbecue that you're going to create. And that's what makes barbecue such a unique style of cooking, is that we can make great food with similar versions of cooking, but in different locations across the country, which gives them a very unique flavor profile and style, which makes it a destination for people to go to. Now, the regionality of wood dictates the type of cooking and barbecue that you're going to create, whether it's going to be pecan wood out in California or the West Coast, whether it's mesquite down in eastern Texas or like Louisiana area. You can get access to hickory wood near the Carolinas. And then probably the most popular wood is the post oak wood that's found in central Texas. Here in New York, we have access to some really great woods. We can get access to cherry wood that's grown here in New York, Pennsylvania, and those areas. Apple wood is pretty ubiquitous around the area of New York, especially where I live. But the main types of wood you want to get access to are hardwoods. Hardwoods include fruit woods and nut woods. That could be anything from apple, peach, cherry, almond, mesquite, post oak, white oak, maple, pecan. The list goes on and on. But what makes barbecue in your area unique to you is the type of wood that you can get access to. Now, I can't get access to post oak. I try to use what's local to me, and I find that the beauty of barbecue lies in the wood that you can get access to and making the barbecue the best that you can based on what you can source. Now, I just got a wood delivery. Let me take you back to when we got this wood and we stacked it up. I'll show you how I store it, and then I'll take you through all the details of wood selection that I go through when I run my reverse flow offset cooker. Let's take you back. Behind me, I've got the stack of wood that I got delivered a couple weeks ago. This is about a half a cord of wood. The amount of wood that you go through is entirely based off the size of your cooker and the frequency at which you cook. This half cord of wood cost me $250, and it got delivered straight to my home, as you saw. Now, what I do is I just stack it up like shown behind me, and I let it just sit in my garage, as opposed to the outdoors where it can get wet or filled with bugs. My reasoning behind this is simply just that this is the only place where I can store the wood effectively. I don't want this wood to get rained on and snowed on. By protecting it in my garage, I can still season it properly as the wood is still exposed to the elements. In this half cord of wood, I've got approximately half of it being cherry wood and half of it being an oak wood. It's what I believe to be a white oak, definitely not post oak because I can't get access to that because it's only available down in Texas, Central Texas. Let me show you a couple examples of the wood that I use before we dive into different styles and methods that you can use wood to cook with. In my shipment of wood, I get about a half a cord of wood with half cherry wood, that you can see here, and half oak wood, which you can see here. This wood I find to be really good for providing me with good heat and flavor. I find that the white oak gives me a lot smokier flavors. These are my two go-to woods because I can easily get them delivered and I can actually get them cut to the size that I want to. You can see this is approximately 1 foot, 12 to 14 inches long. And I specifically asked my wood supplier to cut the wood to the size that I actually need to see what fits in my firebox and what doesn't. I love cooking with regional woods, the cherry, the oak, the apple. It's all local to my area, and I love cooking with what I can find close to me because that makes barbecue in my area, barbecue unique to me. It's my style of cooking. Wood selection is of primary importance. When I'm going through my wood pile, I'm picking out wood when I start my cook that's pretty dense. When you go to pick up a piece of wood and it looks like it's gonna be heavy, then you lift it up and it's like, whoa! Like someone drank all the milk in the carton and then they put it back in the refrigerator. It's like, whoa, you thought there was milk in there. When the wood is like that, it doesn't really have much left to it. It doesn't have those unique flavors and compounds that you get when you burn the wood. Now, in some recent videos, you've seen me start fires with some janky pieces of wood, something like this. You can see the grain structure is weird. It can get sawdusty in places. When I pick out a piece of wood for my wood pile and I'm just trying to get my fire started, this is something that I would use to start my fire. Something very light, something kind of cruddy, something that's not going to really have any flavor to it. Once my temperatures are where I need them to be, then when I go through my wood pile, I look for something with sort of a dense wood structure. That is what you want when you are putting the smoke flavor on your meat. That dense center of that wood is really going to provide some great, clean flavors to your meat in those first few hours of the cook. And that brings us to the topic of green wood versus seasoned wood. When you are picking out your wood and you're gonna cook with your wood, the higher the moisture content means that it's greener. With a higher moisture content, in order for that wood to actually catch, it's going to have to evaporate a good amount of the water within the grain structures of the wood. What seasoned wood is essentially a small percentage of moisture left in the wood after a long time of just acclimating to the ambient environment or the ambient temperatures around the wood. If you want to get real nerdy about this and get a moisture meter, you can to read the moisture of your wood. I just kind of like the natural feel of cooking. I can pick this up and understand, okay, this is a bit heavy, it's got some moisture to it. Sometimes having a higher moisture content wood is good to add some smoke flavor onto your meat. Now, if you're into measuring the moisture content of your wood, I would say a moisture percentage of anywhere between 8 and 20% is a pretty good range, but hey, sometimes we just gotta go with what we got and make the best barbecue we can with what we got. So when we're talking about the quality and the quantity of the wood needed, we can also think about some other types of wood that are actually available for the home cook. The wood split is the lifeblood of what I do. And I view that wood is more of an ingredient to barbecue than it is as a fuel source. There is nothing like the flavor that real wood splits can put on your food, and that's what makes barbecue so enjoyable. But if you can't get access to wood splits like this, you could still make some quality barbecue in your backyard with alternative fuel sources. Now, barbecue to me is offset cooking. It is throwing firewood in your firebox, burning clean fires, and letting the wood do its thing. But that is not the only definition of barbecue. Barbecue could also mean cooking over direct coals, using wood chunks or wood chips, any means of adding some smoke flavor to your meat. Most people can get access to charcoal. Charcoal can be found at any local hardware store. My go-to is Royal Oak 100% natural lump charcoal. I prefer the lump and 100% natural charcoal over briquettes simply because I know that it's natural and I like that it used to be wood just burned down into coals. There's no additives, there's no lighter fluid, there's nothing gross that I'm gonna put onto my meat when I'm cooking. Now, going down the line from charcoal, we can start to use some other sources of wood to kind of imitate or supplement that wood smoke flavor, and that could be in the form of wood chips or wood chunks. A lot of the time, the wood chips and wood chunks are versions of what's called kiln dried wood, in which wood is sort of force dried to make it somewhat seasoned, and it kind of leads to some wonky flavors. What happens with kiln dried wood is that the outside will get really dry, but the inside is not. So it'll burn really hot and then it'll slow down, and then it'll burn really hot and it'll slow down. Wood chunks are great for when I'm using my PK grill, or if you've got any sort of charcoal grill, to add some little smoky flavors to quick cooks. As long as you're outside cooking and you're trying to put some good smoke flavor on your food, you're a friend of mine. Now, proportionality is so important when it comes to your firewood. I have got to make sure that the wood I'm using is proportional for my cooker. If you're just starting off in backyard smoking and in barbecue in general, you want to start off with smaller pieces of wood. You can always add more later on, but you can see this is quite a big split. Let me show you how I cut these down and break them down for the usage for my cooker, so that way we can burn efficient logs and make an efficient fire. Let's take you to my little electric wood splitter. So these are the size of the splits that I like to use when I'm running my cooker. It's all about knowing your cooker and knowing what size wood that you should be using so you can run an efficient fire. All you gotta do is line it up, split it down the middle. Line it up, pop, pop, pop. Thank you guys for tuning in to Harry the Horse Barbecue. I appreciate you checking out this video. Now remember, the wood you are using in barbecue is more than just a fuel source. It is an ingredient to make some of the best food the world has to offer. Your wood selection could ultimately take a good cook to a great cook. I highly recommend that you guys go out and search for wood in your local area and not try to mimic someone else's barbecue just because of the popularity. Stick to what's unique to your area to make your barbecue unique at home, and you'll be making some great food in the process. With all that being said, I gotta let this cherry and oak wood season up before I get into my next cook. Whoa, whoa, hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm in the middle of searing this porterhouse steak, and I forgot to tell y'all to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are approaching the 1,000 subscriber mark, so hit it. Y'all also know that we got that bark on that wood, that crispy bark on that wood out there. So hit that like button because we got that crispy bark. Make sure you hit that notification bell. I just gave you all this great information about wood, so if you want to keep it locked for more information, hit that notification bell. Make sure you leave a comment down below about what type of wood you're using and in what region you live in, and what your favorite thing to cook is with that wood. Also leave a comment about what you think I should be cooking in my next video with that new wood supply. Y'all can follow me at Harry the Horse Barbecue on Instagram. I'd love to see what y'all are cooking up. I'm gonna get back to searing this steak while Past Harry takes it over. Just one more thing, y'all. Y'all heard this one straight from the horse's mouth. We'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.